Hi.
Hi, my name is Richard Davis from Burnaby Connect. We're really excited to have you here today. This is our third episode of our second season, and we're excited to share this with you. Today we have a really interesting mix of both social justice and art. Let's start with the art with the film Nature Entwined.
I'm Kiran from Burnaby Connect, and today I'm sitting down with Amanda Palmer and Krista Brand. And they are co-producers, and Amanda is the director of a short film, Nature Entwined, which is premiering at the Whistler Film Festival. Nature Entwined is about the connection that women have with nature, and specifically surrounding Squamish. So, of course, congratulations on your film. It's beautiful. And I want to start by asking, why was this the story that you wanted to tell? Like, what inspired you to make this film?
Great question. So I think as a resident of Squamish, the landscape inspires me on a daily basis. You can hike from your front door, you can go on runs like mountain biking, skiing. It's such a visually stunning place that I think, wanting to showcase the landscape was really important to us. And then obviously as a group of all female filmmakers, we can really speak to our experience exploring nature.
The top, I had a moment where I could kind of step back and watch them doing their thing. And I got really emotional. That, okay, so personally that I was on the top of the mountain and I made it, but also that I was looking around and I was like, we put this together, like all of us collaboratively put this together in not much time at all. And I could see it unfolding in front of my eyes, and to know the power in that and the love in that and the trust in that was something really, really special. So I will take that into the projects that I do moving forward, because it was very unique and very, very special.
Like in terms of learnings, like you can make a film in 20 days. I suppose we learned that. If we had more time, we would have taken it for sure. But I'm super proud with the end product. I think all of us had to really be good with our communication. We had to, basically from the day that we learned that we were going to be in the competition, we were on a group chat, Krista, Lauren, and I, talking about ideas. I just love that I learned more about the community that I live in, the cast, meeting them. I really hope that we can keep in touch with them and continue to, maybe go hiking with Fadwa again, or like go for coffee with Devin, and like all of these great women that make up this community. I feel like it's only the beginning. We want to inspire women to be out in nature. We want, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It could be a walk, it could be a run, it could be a hike. Like, just get out in nature, realize that your personal experience to nature is important and is worthwhile pursuing.
All right. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing your film.
COVID has affected education deeply. To talk about this, we spoke to film and broadcast teacher Phil Byrne.
It's very strange. Everything that we're doing is for health outcomes. So curriculum comes second. One very clear message is that kids do better in school. So we've worked within the guidelines for health to maximize the amount of time that kids are in class. This quarter system, which is originally called the Copernican system, means that you have 10 weeks to complete an entire course. Possibly this is more like a college experience, maybe not as hard on the senior grades, but very difficult for junior grades. The plus side, if there is a plus side, is that the concentration helps students learn, but that it really does differentiate learning, because the kids who are struggling will never catch up. So you need to kind of teach 75% of the content and get 100% of the learning outcomes achieved. Circumstances in film education, there are some bonuses. We could bring in a set, we could run it like a college course, but we had to drop two major areas of the curriculum, which are okay to do online. I think that the students have been more serious. They didn't have any time to fool around, and the class size in a cohorted system is actually showing up the value of class size. Class size matters. Being a group of 17 compared to 30, I think almost outweighs the amount of curriculum we missed. Because the teacher is a very small part of what's going on. It's your classmates that you're learning from. It's a community and it's a relationship. My take is you're going to be teaching kids advanced computer skills in editing. First of all, you make films in groups, and second of all, you should have access to the equipment you need to do it. But I think in the future, I'm going to use Teams. I probably wouldn't have before. I think Teams is a great way to organize a class and then send messages, and really great for communication. It's good at what it does, but it sort of drags education back like 30 years in terms of what you're doing. It's like great for making assignments and then commenting and handing them back, but I don't think that's where we're headed with the curriculum. It's not exactly what you want. We want people to how can you generate your own projects and collaborate, and so I think on balance, it's here to stay, but it's not going to be the dominant thing that we do. It's going to be part of what we do, is the online stuff.
Our next segment entwines both themes of this episode, art and social justice. It's the École Alpha Secondary Social Justice Photography students.
My name is Donna Clark, and I'm a high school art teacher at École Alpha Secondary.
Why is it important to involve themes such as social justice and environmental issues in the photography class?
Photography is about everything. Photography is about taking pictures of our world, and our world is a complex and interesting place. So it's important for me that students are aware of social issues when they're taking photography and aware of environmental issues as well.
What other topics would you base a project on, like, for example, human biology or maybe law?
Of course, I teach what I know, and I teach what I want to know about. So as a photography teacher, I could be teaching about the connection between photography and physics, photography, and almost any topic. But I teach what my interests and passions are, and I want students to take photos from their passions and interests as well. There's no division between photography and anything to do with the world. And so that's one of the wonderful things about photography. My students are very diverse, and it's important for me as an art teacher and as a photography teacher to honor each and every one of their heritages, and to have examples in my art room and in my photography class of the breadth of artists and photographers on the planet and across time.
I'm Layla Rogers, and the piece I created is called Changes. It's basically about eating disorders.
What message should it deliver to viewers?
If you are struggling, it's not a part of you, and you are still who you were before, and you can get through it, and it's not a part of you.
I'm Jessica. I'm a student at Alpha Secondary School in Burnaby. I'm in grade 11, and I sent in a photo titled Blurry Vision, and it's a representation of mental health, specifically anxiety.
And so why did you choose this concept, and what does it mean to you?
I chose the concept anxiety because I deal with anxiety, and I know it can get really tough, and yeah.
So what message should it deliver to viewers?
That it's going to be okay, and that no matter how tough it gets, you can always talk to someone and get help.
And so why is this project important for students?
Because especially in young girls and any young teenager, it's important to know that this is a real thing and a real illness that many people go through, and you're not alone if you're going through it, and there's always help and there's always recovery.
It's important to understand what's going on with your mental health so that you can fix it and become like a healthy person.
Several businesses have been truly affected by COVID, one of which is the prom dress store Lisa's Bridal.
Hi, my name is Celia and I'm with Lisa's Bridal Salon. We really have seen a large change in our business, and COVID has had a very direct impact. Not only can events not happen in their traditional form, but the main thing is we have a harder time connecting with our clients in that we can't share our smile and we can't see the customers smile back at us. So that does leave a little bit of a communication gap, because that is what we're here to do, is really celebrate and have a good time, and interacting emotionally, smiling is a big part of that. Prom experience has changed in that the shopping experience is different. We try to minimize touch points. We're always sanitizing. We're wearing masks. As far as the prom itself, not being able to have a large gathering, that will really change people's prom experience. We have talked to a lot of our clients about what they plan to do, and what we're hearing a lot about is private parties, predominantly in the backyard. The weather will be better. You can have your close friends. You can socially distance. It's important to celebrate and commemorate such an important time in your life, and I think that that can still happen, and it can happen safely in your backyard in a different format with your friends. I do look forward to the future comeback of prom, and I think that that is something that is close on the horizon. We're seeing the rollout of vaccines, and we look forward to being able to celebrate all of our special events.
Let's be honest, 2020 kind of sucked. Joseph's son went around to check on people's mental health.
How would you describe your 2020?
Disgusting. It was really bad.
With mental illness being one of the themes for us today, a lot of people have probably endured the worst of it during this ongoing pandemic. 2020 was a whirlwind of emotions, drastic change, major events, and great loss. As we step into the new year, we'd like to acknowledge the hardships that people might go through by asking people around on what their take on 2020 was. So how was your 2020, and how would you describe your 2020?
Wow. Okay. That's a really loaded question.
You know what, I don't think 2020 was what anybody thought was going to be, but I think we did all right.
Definitely describe it as challenging, because I had to be home all the time and, do my schoolwork online and all that, kind of have to be home with your family all the time.
I would have to say it blew away any kind of plans that I ever made. My husband passed away in 2019, so part of what the first part of the year was organizing funerary services, and I took him to Denmark. So I just got out of Europe. Literally, the funeral was on March 12th, and the deadline to get back to the States and back into Canada was on the 13th. I was chased out of Europe. So as I left Denmark, went to Iceland, the border closed. As I left Iceland, came to Seattle, I was the last and second last, my daughter was with me, person out of the Seattle airport.
What would you say was the worst event that happened in 2020?
Well, it's obvious it's COVID-19, but the way some people have reacted to it is what is really I find troubling.
Worst event? I would probably say like the storming of the Capitol that happened recently. I thought that was like pretty wacky, but I'm sure there were other things that happened that I never heard about that were probably worse, but that was like some big thing that I thought was pretty bad.
Worst event that happened for me is the COVID virus. And the best thing that actually happened for me is the isolation came from COVID virus.
Everything had a meltdown. So at least because I have a private practice, I still was in demand, but I saw a lot of people that lost jobs. I saw a lot of people that their businesses closed.
And if you're willing to share, what would you say was the worst or best thing that happened to you in 2020?
Well, the best thing is that I'm retired and a pensioner, so I was one of the lucky ones whose funds didn't stop. You know, I still get my pension, unlike the poor people who lost work and everything. So I'm lucky that way. Worst, I haven't had a hug in a year, and I miss them.
I think I did really well in school because I had nothing else to do. So yeah, that was it. I got pretty good grades, so yeah.
Any worst?
Worst thing of 2020? Probably just like the quarantine stage back in April when everyone was just like at home. There was like nothing to do.
I felt lucky in the respect that I do have a certain amount of financial pillow. I realize a lot of people don't. As a business person, separate from having a private practice, so many things are product driven. Only so many of those can be packaged. You can't really package a massage. You can't package spending time with friends the same way. So things like Zoom and stuff like that, what I also see as a counselor is it's really desocializing people because it's not the same contact as a hug.
But the best thing that happened is through all this, we came to realizations that we are all together in this one.
What do you think makes people more anxious, the virus or all the hysteria they see in the media?
In Canada, I think it's the virus. I don't think our media does that much, creates that much hysteria like some other countries.
I think the hysteria in the media probably.
Hysteria, 1000%.
And lastly, if you can, do you have anything to say to the viewers out there who are dealing with stress and anxiety during these ongoing tough times?
Oh, seek some help. There's so many people out there that are willing to give you help and talk about it. Yeah, come on. You know, we really are. They say we're all in this together, and in most respects we are. Some people aren't making, well, they tick me off, but just ask for help.
Definitely talk to someone and get some help if you can. Definitely don't deal with it alone.
Okay, thank you.
Everything's going to be all right, guys.
Man, 2020, what a year. So many things that made an unforgettable year for many individuals. My name is Joseph, and thank you for watching.
The performing arts has struggled due to COVID-19. Kiran and Neit sat down with the Shadbolt Center to see how things have changed.
Sure. Hi, I'm Corey Philly, and I have a very vague title, the Theater and Facility Services Coordinator at the Shadbolt. What's always special about the Shadbolt Center for the Arts is that it's one of the first purpose-built art center, first of all, in Burnaby, but also there's not that many in the Lower Mainland, actually. But this is kind of the place where people come to participate, see, connect through the arts. We're able to give people, what I think is a really valuable and needed commodity right now, which is to make personal connections in a real space. I'd say the majority, well, actually not the majority of my time, but I wish the majority of my time was spent in actually talking to artists. It's the funnest part of my job. I'm basically the artistic director for the live performance, now live streaming season. I also look after all the rentals and allotments in the space are quite, up to my elbows basically in how COVID is supposed to function and work and all that stuff, as well as I look after all the administration here at the Shadbolt. I think people have been, just like everybody, learning on the fly to some extent. Like you can create these containers that are as safe as they possibly can be. And because when you're looking at another human being, you can't imagine what's going on in their brains necessarily. And it can feel distant, and you can feel very much isolated in that. And I think we're we've been having to be isolated and alone, so that makes it even worse. I think when you go into an artistic enterprise, whatever that happens to be, you recognize and are able to visualize in a different way or experience in a different way how human beings connect with each other and the kind of level at which our intimacy is actually there through an activity or through a participation or through an experience. And the more we can sort of share our experiences as humans, which are going to be individual, but it really does remind us that we all are so similar on so many levels, and that our experiences and our needs are so similar. And to do so might make us a little bit more brave, might make us a little bit more compassionate, might make us a little bit more relaxed, right? If you're having, it might make us a whole bunch of things, right? And because I think our deepest fear is that nobody understands us sometimes, right? Like our deepest fear is that we are alone. And I think that's the biggest myth.
Kiran Neit is on the front lines for the fight for climate justice. I sat down with her to talk about it.
Hi, I'm Richard Davis from Burnaby Connect, and today I'm sitting down with my good friend Kiran Neit of Sustainabiliteens. So Kiran, can you tell us a bit about what Sustainabiliteens is for those who don't know?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Richard. So Sustainabiliteens is a youth climate strike organization. We started start of Sustainabiliteens was last fall, September 27th. There was a massive climate strike. It was the most people who had ever come out to protest in Vancouver's history. There were over 100,000 people who attended. And so since then, we've sort of expanded from just climate striking to reaching out a little bit more in the community. We've been doing different types of events. But at our base, we're a group of high school students who are passionate about fighting for climate justice.
So as a young person yourself, like we're all young people in this room, how do you see your future and what do you think can be done to kind of fix that in the realm of saving the climate?
Well, if we are not successful and if everything keeps going the way it is now, I mean, some estimates are that we only have 10 years to make the change that we need. And otherwise, I mean, like sea level rise and natural disasters and more pandemics like this, because pandemics are like the more natural disasters and all these other things that are going wrong also cause more likelihood of this type of pandemic to happen again. So I mean, the future could look devastating, but I know that if we keep fighting and doing what we're doing, we are making change. And so the future that I see that we're working towards, that if we keep fighting for it, we'll get there. We're fighting not only for climate justice. Climate justice is a term that encompasses a lot of things. So it's not only actually like stopping climate change, it's also about equity and like opportunity and creating a world where everybody is taken care of and where everybody can live like a fulfilling life in a way that is sustainable for the planet.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate having you on.
Thank you so much.
In a throwback to the Christmas season, Carissa Toledo asked people why they think they're on the naughty list.
Okay, so are you on the naughty or nice list?
Oh, I'm definitely the nice list.
Definitely the nice list.
Nice?
Nice.
I think I'd be on the nice list.
I would say I'm on the nice list this year.
Do you want to explain why?
I didn't get in any trouble.
I didn't do anything bad.
I've been listening to my parents a little bit more.
I haven't done anything too bad this year, I guess.
Well, I've been the most fantastic husband around that any woman could have. I am such a nice guy, and I'm going to get the bestest present ever.
I don't know, I feel like I've been doing like some good stuff with like family and friends and everything.
So I think I'll be on the naughty list if I have to think about it.
If Santa puts you on the naughty list, would he have a good reason for it?
Because I missed school a lot this year.
No, I haven't done anything too wrong this year.
I don't think I loved people like I should love them.
Well, I almost failed gym, so I'm going to say that.
Do you guys think you have a chance to be on the nice list this year at least?
Yeah. Maybe got a chance. Probably not.
Well, it's actually kind of okay to be naughty. It all depends what you want.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
I I've been Richard Davis. The show's Burnaby Connect. Thank you so much for watching.